Gluten-free, vegan, low-fat, chocolate chip oatmeal cookies with lots of flavor? Really? My husband and I have had our share of food intolerances over recent years, and I love sweets. So I created this recipe that we both can eat given our different intolerances. And there's a bonus. These cookies, while super yummy, are also easy on the hips. I'm excited to share this recipe with you today. Given that this recipe is gluten-free and vegan, I provide substitutes in the recipe linked below in the description for using eggs, butter, and regular all-purpose flour, if that's what you have. So let's get to it. For the ingredients, you'll need chia seeds, coconut oil, granulated sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, applesauce, gluten-free oats, gluten-free all-purpose flour like Namaste, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and of course, chocolate chips. We'll begin by making the egg substitute. If you aren't vegan, you could totally use one large egg here, but we're going vegan today. So in a small bowl, we're gonna add 10 grams, which is 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. If you have another egg substitute, you could of course use that. Chia seeds are one of those superfoods, adding healthy fat, protein, and omega-3 fatty acids. Then we're going to add 45 milliliters, which is 3 tablespoons of just plain old tap water. And I'm just gonna use a fork to stir it. And we're gonna set this aside for 15 minutes to gel. Once the mixture is gelled, as you can see right now, it's just water and chia seeds. It's very much separated. But once it's gelled, it will be the consistency of one large egg. A chia seed serves the same purpose as eggs do in most cookie recipes. Go ahead and preheat your oven at 350 degrees. And we're gonna line 2 baking sheets with parchment paper or silicone mats, and then we're just gonna set these aside. To a large mixing bowl, we're gonna add 30 grams, which is 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Heat the coconut oil in the microwave for 30 seconds or until melted to make it easier to mix with the other ingredients. Okay, once your coconut oil is melted, we're gonna add 100 grams, which is a half a cup of granulated sugar. And we're gonna add 96 grams, which is also a half a cup, but it's packed, brown sugar. So then with my electric mixer, I'm just gonna mix on medium speed until it's combined. Start out with low speed first so it doesn't fly out of your bowl. And as you can see, it's just a crumbly mixture right now. Okay, now it's time to add the wet ingredients. Check out this chia seed. Notice the consistency once it has gelled. The water has softened the chia seeds and of course pulled out the element that makes it gelled. So we're gonna add that. Again, if you would rather use an egg, just use 1 large egg here. We're gonna pour in 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 61 grams, which is 1/4 cup of applesauce. This is no sugar added, plain applesauce. Applesauce is a great substitute for oil and other fat in recipes, particularly in cookies, because it has a similar consistency. It also enhances the flavor profile by adding a nuanced fruit flavor to this recipe. So we're just gonna mix again until well blended and smooth. Notice how those wet ingredients really smoothed out the sugar. Okay, we're gonna put this aside for now. To a food processor, we're going to add 193 grams, which is 2 cups of old-fashioned oats. You could also use quick cooking. I prefer old-fashioned. I like they're a little bit thicker. Mine are gluten-free and organic, but you can choose whatever oat you have. We're going to pulse the oats until they're mostly broken down to resemble a mix of coarse cornmeal and small oat pieces. All right, so we have a combination of thicker oat pieces and some that look like flour almost, that are broken down that much. And since these are oat cookies, we want to be able to see a little bit of the oats, even though we want them to, some of them to look more like flour. Then to the oats, we're gonna add 138 grams, which is about 1 cup of gluten-free flour. You can use all-purpose flour here if you are not gluten-free. I've made these cookies with eggs, I've made these cookies with regular flour, it all works. We're gonna add 4 grams, which is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. to give a little bit of a rise to our cookie. We're gonna add 2 grams, which is a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 3 grams, which is a half a teaspoon of salt. So now we want to mix this all together. We want the flour to be dispersed in well with the oats and the other ingredients. So we're just going to pulse until they're combined. I don't want to see any flour streaks on the edge of the bowl, so I'm going to pulse until those flour streaks are well blended with the oats. All right, dry mixture is done. Okay, take a look. I can feel some of the chunky oats in there, but a lot of the oats are broken down. But you're still going to get that oat flavor, and you're going to be able to see them in the cookies. So our wet ingredients look nice and gelled here. We're going to pour the dry mixture into the wet mixture, and let's just stir it well until it's all combined. Once your flour has been mostly absorbed, we're going to fold in 240 grams, which is 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. I do like a lot of chocolate in mine. You can put less if you want. You could also use candy-coated chocolate candies, toffee bits, or any other chocolate. You can add nuts or dried fruit. It's just whatever you have and what is speaking to you when you're making these, because these are fairly quick to make. You can make them anytime. So you're going to spoon about 1 tablespoon of dough, which is about a walnut size. I'm using a cookie scoop because I can pretty much get the same amount of dough in each cookie. And then just drop them on your cookie sheet, like so. Now these cookies are not going to spread very much because there's not much fat in them. So you can place them close together on the cookie sheet. You should get about 45 cookies from this batch. And just keep going until you fill up your cookie sheet. These cookies are going to be dome shape. However, if you want more of a flat cookie, then you can dampen your fingers and then press down the cookie so that it has more of a flat shape, like so. I'll just show you as an example. You could use the bottom of a glass or cup too, just make sure you flour it. Okay, so we'll just do 3 so you can see what that looks like. With 1 batch of cookies ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and place them in the oven and bake for 12 minutes or until the edges are set and the bottoms are lightly brown. I'm baking 1 batch of cookies at a time, so while this one bakes, I'll go ahead and place the rest of the cookie batter on another cookie sheet. I have 1 pan of cookies coming out of the oven and a pan of cookies going into the oven. We're gonna let our cookies cool for about 2 minutes to make sure that they set before we remove them and put them on a cooling rack. All right, let's move our cookies over to a cooling rack. Notice that beautiful dome shape. So it's a little bit different shape to a cookie that you might find on a cookie platter. So if you're looking for something a little different for your cookie platter, this might be a cool shape to work with here. The cookies that we flattened out, they look like a regular cookie, that regular flat cookie shape. Notice how easily they come off the pan. So the cookies have held their shape, slightly browned on the bottom. You could spot the oats, the chunks of chocolate. Yes, we did put a lot of chocolate in here. Again, you can leave out some of the chocolate if you want, just put 1 cup. So let's break into it and see what the inside looks like. It's got that kind of a crispy exterior with a soft, chewy interior. Chocolate in almost every bite. From the oats and the rice flour and the chia seeds and applesauce, you definitely get some health benefits like in a granola bar. That is if you don't count the sugar. But the 2 different sugars add a little bit of color, particularly the brown sugar and the chocolate chips. They all add a bit of indulgence. They make you feel like you're totally indulging in sweets here. These little guys are a nice bite-sized treat that you can eat 3 or 4 easily and feel satisfied or more without all of the guilt or the greasy gut. If you're tired of granola bars and you want a cookie, but you don't want to go that far with the fat and calories, this is a good alternative, kind of a between a granola bar and between a cookie. It's more like a cookie, but you definitely get the health benefits from say, a granola bar. This is now my go-to chocolate chip cookie when I'm craving sweets, but don't want all of the fat, gluten, or eggs. I hope you give these a try and enjoy them as much as we do. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. I really do appreciate your support very much. Until next time, go bake the world.